Oh, I said it last
Hi,
time.
guys. Welcome to another episode of Emerge Detour Essentials Live. We are so excited, or actually, we're super excited for tonight's episode. And I'm excited to be back this week. We are
This,
at
this
season.
is the first time back in 2 weeks that all three of us are here.
Wow. Oh, right. I forgot because,
Yes.
right, that's actually right. So, guys, this is season 5, and we're actually at episode 7, if you can believe that. So, we have about 3 more episodes to go in this season. That's amazing. Last week we had an amazing episode with Michelle Gordon. I was not able to participate, but I definitely watched the replay, and it's worth watching. So, if you missed that episode, you may want to go back after this show, after you've shared this episode with your friends and family. You may want to go back and watch what Michelle had to say as she starts her journey into 49. And which is a perfect time for our show today because we're talking with the ladies from What the 50. But we'll go into the details about that in a minute. So for this season, we've been really talking about a range of topics. Like we explored dating, we've been going into different journeys, and we're continuing that journey tonight with our episode. For those joining us for the first time tonight, we see a lot of newcomers. Welcome, welcome. Hey, Natalie, Vanessa, Althea, Carrie, Michelle is here, Norma Dell, Michael. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're joining for the first time, this is Emerge Detour Essentials Live. We're here every Wednesday at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. And we stream live on YouTube and on Facebook. You can like, follow, comment, share. And we're also on Instagram at Ready to Emerge. So we normally start with a quick little intro. Hi, Lorian. Lorian is joining.
We
have
miss you, Lori.
joining tonight.
But she's joining from Toronto.
Yes, welcome. So we normally do our intro just because we don't want to assume that everybody knows who we are. And I know we have some new emergers tonight. My name is Naomi Garrick. I am the PR chick. I'm also a personal branding coach and the founder of Garrick Communications, a boutique PR agency here in Kingston, Jamaica. And I am honored to be a part of this Emerge trio and looking forward to hear what our special guests have in store for us tonight.
Me too. Hi, everybody. I'm excited to be back with the three of us. I missed you guys. I miss you guys.
Oh, we missed you too, Catherine. We weren't sure.
I am Catherine Girl. For those of you that are joining us for the first time, welcome. And I'm really excited to get started tonight. Hi, Rochelle.
Hi guys. Hi. No, so hi Rochelle. So Rochelle says good night, Kathy, Naomi, and Rocky. And then she I that happens to me, Rochelle, all the time. Like when I try to fix something on WhatsApp that I spell.
And then it's something else.
Five times. Five attempts later.
You know what, guys? You know what I love about this season? Like we're really getting into some big people talking, some big people topics. And you know what? I don't know about you all, but like of late, I'm owning that I'm a big people.
Did you tell us who you are?
Yeah, Rochelle. Maybe you need to start with your introduction with saying, "My name is Rochelle Cameron, and I'm owning up to the fact that I'm a big person."
Yeah.
I am. I'm like this. Like I'm a big people. Like we need some big people conversation.
Yeah.
Like this joke. So recently I was hanging with some of my friends and apparently like on this traversing to 50, like nowadays, people start getting hot flashes and so on. I'm a hypochondriac. If you have hot flashes, I have hot flashes. Anything you have, I have. So I've been taking magnesium in the night. And ladies, magnesium is great for sleep. Who knew?
Really?
And it's also great for just regulating your body. So I'm learning even more about stuff because I'm having big people conversation.
You know what's funny?
Is it magnesium that we're having a shortage of now globally?
I have some at my house if you want.
Hi, Ellie. You know what's funny? And this is, very naive of me, but I never experienced it before, right? Or I never seen it before. I was with my aunt when I was in Jamaica the other day, and she was just sweating like crazy. And I said to her, "Why are you sweating like that?" She says, "This is what an actual hot flash looks like in action." And I did not realize that you physically sweat.
So what
Because
You just feel hot inside.
Well, yes, that's what I thought. Because you know what, when mommy used to have it, or she was in Miami, so she was in AC all the time. So maybe that's why I never saw it before. But I didn't know it was a physical thing. I thought it was internal. I didn't know it was external.
Well, as my friend Tabitha Brown, because I think she's my friend, right? Would say, let's get into it.
Yes.
We're gonna get into it tonight. Rochelle, you still haven't introduced yourself, by the way, so we just know that you're a big person. That's all.
That's who I am. Tonight, I'm just tired and I'm a big person. I'm taking magnesium. And Kerry says that magnesium.
Kerry, I'm going to get some magnesium too, because clearly I need it.
Some days I'm just like, that's all I can possibly describe as, just a big person. I'm very excited about tonight. Last week, Michelle was on, Michelle Gordon, and she was amazing, just amazing. The feedback has been great, but it always, no matter how tired we get, because today has tested everything about me, patience and everything, but then it gets to ready to emerge, and I get to just emerge, because remember, we guys, we are learning just like you. We are sitting, we're taking notes, and this is just as inspirational. And there's nothing like you come on and you see Kerry and you see Rochelle, you see Lori from all the way in Toronto, and you're like, this is just worth it, every second of it. Yeah. I love you guys. We're back together. Let's hug.
We love you.
All right, guys, so let's get into it. Rochelle, I really made an attempt to do an intro when you weren't here. The crowd was not having it.
Yeah.
So we're so happy to have you back to do your regular introduction.
Yeah.
So,
and they were vocal about the fact that they missed you.
Yeah, they're like, where's Roshi?
I'm trying now, it's like,
guys, tonight is, and just for everybody to pause for a moment to ask yourself.
And Drina's also joining us from Canada as well.
Hi,
Drina.
Hi. But guys, just for a moment, ask yourself this question. You've joined the show because you want to be here, but have you told a friend, and are you a good friend in having not shared with anyone? Just leaving that there. Share with someone, because tonight we are joined. I see Lori called her one of her favorite persons, Michie Willie, otherwise known as Michelle Williams, and Nicola Chang Murphy, who we call Nikki, the host of WTF, What the 50 podcast, a community where women can gather tips, tools, and techniques to live life at the moment with simplicity, joy, and confidence. Now, Michie Willie is a wife, mother, and I don't know if a lot of people even remember too that she is a phenomenal educator, because we know her in all of these spaces. So sometimes we don't even remember that she's a phenomenal educator who is also, she has a master's degree in curriculum and instruction from Florida International University, big school, where she focused on the benefits of differentiation in the classroom. And get this, she is about to embark on reading for her PhD in psychology. So next time she's on, we're going to see Dr. Williams. Welcome.
And also, Rush, I forgot to add, she just celebrated her birthday. So happy belated birthday, Mish.
Do you hate when you're giving me a post and there's somebody in the background who is like, remember? So,
don't even mute tonight.
A preschool teacher for many years. She was very well known, by the way, for her unconventional methods of teaching her students, which led to unlocking their desire for learning, while something that she's very focused on, developing the whole child. She's a strong advocate for at-risk teens while in guidance counseling department at the Ministry of Education. And she's done a lot of work assisting teachers and students in schools island-wide to create and implement systems for intervention, which are focused on developing a framework for coping skills. Now, with all of this, She is wife, as I mentioned. She's mother of two amazing boys, JP, who is about to be 22 years old, and Zachary, who is 15 years old. She is in a time of just constantly reinventing herself, and she's the co-host of the podcast What the 50. And again, if you didn't hear of it before, I know you're secretly going now to just make sure you have it in your lineup. And at this point, we have to pause to say happy belated birthday to soon to be Dr. Nishi Willie. We're also joined by the phenomenal
Woo!
Chang. No, Nikki has a BA and an MBA, and she uses her life experiences and academic background to help others make their lives filled with both purpose and joy. It's like she talk with language, girls. She passionately believes that we all need to live life at our highest vibration, where we can attract the synchronicities of life. And she's been living at some pretty high vibration. She's a director of Consolidated Bakeries, home of Purity, and Miss Birdie Brands, Miss Birdie.
And Miss Birdie Crackers.
And she's a life purpose coach. She's also the co-host of WTF, passionate entrepreneur who believes in a community of minds. Again, too, she is a mother of two boys, Max, who is 21, and Kaylin, who is almost 17. And remember, we did a talk about dating. Well, she did date good from early, because from early, she fell in love with her high school friend turned college sweetheart, Trevor. Clapper.
It's possible, folks. It's possible, folks.
So, we know, welcome to our stage. And I'm glad you've already sent out those messages to your friends, because, as M. Benson says, Dr. Michelle Williams is loading. Entrepreneur extraordinaire Nikki Chang is loading. Ladies and gentlemen, get up off your feet and run around the house and act like crazy. Welcome, Nikki Chang Murphy and Michelle Williams. I told you guys I don't have any sense. Thank you.
Hi,
Hi,
ladies.
guys. Welcome.
Thank you. That
Welcome.
amazing welcome. Oh my gosh, thank you. And for
Hot
the birthday
flashes
wishes.
are in the house.
Thank you, ladies.
Mish, as we said earlier, happy belated birthday.
Yes, happy
Super
belated.
Thank you. I'm
for
celebrating
you.
all week, by the way. Just came back from
Okay,
New
so
York,
happy
and I'm
birthday
celebrating
then.
all week.
We
Yes.
love that. Well, happy birthday. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
Happy
you.
birthday. I mean, we know that birthdays look different during this time. So it's
They do.
amazing that you're still able to celebrate.
Yes,
So
I'm thankful.
celebrate
Yes.
the week, celebrate the month, celebrate the whole year if
Yes,
you
for
want to.
sure, for sure. Just celebrate.
So before we actually get into the WTF podcast, which I know everybody is really excited to hear about, we would love to hear a little bit more about your individual journeys before WTF. So I'll start with you, Mish. Just tell us a little bit about your journey to where you are today.
Gosh, it's been a journey. Well, as Rush mentioned, I was in the classroom for a number of years, which I totally enjoyed at Liberty Prep. And that's where I got my start off with. I think it sort of helped me to become a parent, because, being with my students was just amazing. I loved it. But there came a time when I had to step out of the classroom, and I did some other things after that, including working with my parents. And then I started a juice bar, exciting stuff. And I left that and I went to the Ministry of Education for a while, which was very, very different from being in the classroom. I worked with gang members, and that was rather interesting. Then I switched at the ministry and I worked with the primary education. So I was doing assessments for students going into grade 1, just starting out in primary education. That was interesting too, but working with the gang members was really a learning curve for me. It was quite interesting. But and then I decided to just not work for a while because I wanted to be at home with my boys. I chose to step out of. It was a conscious decision that I made. One that made me really very nervous because, of course, we ended up with one income at that point. But I really wanted to be at home because I saw what was happening in our system, and I thought it was important for me to be there with my boys, to give them all the support that they want and they needed. I have no regrets though. I have absolutely no regrets for doing that. And I totally enjoyed it. I became involved with the PTA. That's where Nikki and I met. And I'm still doing that now. But of course, entering into the 50s, things are
Yes.
going to be different.
Love to
Looking
hear
forward to
that.
those changes. Yes, yes,
And I mean, that's what brought us here today.
of course. Yeah.
Nikki, we'd love to hear your journey as well.
Well, so I left Jamaica when I was 8 and I grew up in Canada. So that's where I met my husband. But we were friends in high school and we started dating when we both went to the same university. So after university, we came back to Jamaica. He's Canadian though. And we were here just for a year, just to hang out, work with my family for a little bit. And my mother said, because, he wanted to go back to chiropractic college. And my mother said, but Trevor, the medical school here is very good. Why don't you apply? So he applied and here we are still. So we went to medical school here. We did go back to Canada for a few years for him to do his fellowship. While we were there, we're like, ugh, this lifestyle, this is not for us. So we came back home and I went back to work with my family at Purity.
Mhm.
And so I was working there for a while, but it was a struggle. I would always I was always rushing between work and home and never feeling like I was doing enough for both of either. And I would always tell my brothers, you guys have wives. I don't. I have to deal with everything. So I gave that up for a while and started, dabbling in a few little things like essential oils and things. And then Michelle and I met, I guess, at the PTA. And we were always talking about different things that we could do, like, because, what are we going to do? Let's do this. Let's do that. And here we are. So that's
I
me.
love it. I love it. So one of the things, essential oils are very essential right now, Nikki.
Oh, yes.
I hope you're still doing something with that.
Yes, for sure. No, for sure. Yeah, I do it. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So one of the things I noticed is that you not only are you both married, both over 50, married, but you both have two boys that are almost a little similar in age, right?
For sure.
But me specifically, I'd love to know how that experience has been for the pandemic during the last 2 years. And any one of you can go first.
Well, it has been hard. I mean, initially, we just didn't, like everybody else, we didn't know what to expect and how long is this thing going to last. So I tried to be super calm about it, which was really difficult. And we started having family meetings. So I thought it was really important for us because, some boys tend to not express how they feel. And this still remains a very, very scary time. So I thought it was really important for us as a family to understand what they were thinking about and how they thought they were going to navigate through this. And we had to help each other to do it. So we started having weekly family meetings where we just had to say what was going on in our minds. And the boys, they participated. I mean, we had to kind of pull them in a bit, but they participated. And then Chris, my husband, he would take them out to exercise on the carport. Big speaker box. I made it as personalized as possible. So a big speaker box and blasting dancehall music and any kind of music that came. And they just really enjoyed themselves. It was a big party out there. I think the neighbors hated us for a while. But we had to do that really to try and get the boys to understand that we're in this together. And so we tried to it's a serious time, right? So we had serious conversations, and then we had the animated conversations where we just let it all out because, and then when I would sit them on the carport, I didn't join in. I thought it was a boys' time, and they'll be on the carport and they're playing their music and skipping and doing sit-ups and all of that. And it was actually very beneficial, mentally and physically, very beneficial.
Awesome.
We just had to do it.
So I am so grateful for this time, actually. My oldest son, Max, was at University of British Columbia. So he actually came home and he actually did his second year of engineering in Jamaica. But it was a great time for the family. One, I think gathered a new appreciation of Jamaica, and he really got into making plants and making terrariums. So he loved that. And like Michelle, we too had very serious conversations. My husband and I learned so much from them in that time. We were watching this one presentation that Max was doing at UBC, and we didn't realize, we're so out of it that, they have to introduce themselves as, "Hi, my name is Max Murphy, and you can refer to me as he, him." And Trevor and I are like, "What is that all about?" So that was so we had many conversations about all of that with them. We got into the vaccine. They became big proponents of the vaccine because they would ask my husband so many questions about it. So I'm grateful for that time. And my other son started a podcast as well.
Oh,
Yeah. So, yeah.
That's awesome. What's his podcast about?
He talks really a lot about teenage issues. So he had a therapist on last night.
Can you please share that podcast with us?
Sure,
I have a 15-year-old like Michelle, and let's see if we can get him to listen to it.
Yes, it's called Contemplations.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So
I think that's a great way to segue into your podcast.
Yes.
So tell us about the podcast, and of course, what was the motivation behind it? How did you guys get started?
Oh gosh, there's lots of talking, right, Nikki?
Yeah,
Lots
it was
of
a lot of talking, and it was a lot of this is our time now type of thing. Because I think both Michelle and I are very similar in a way, is that we have been very, Michelle hates when I say this, and she's going to kill me that I said this.
I know what you're going to say.
But I maybe not her. I have definitely been in the shadows of my family, all of my family, and I had decided that I was needed to step away from being somebody's daughter, somebody's sister. Then I became somebody's mother and somebody's wife. And I had to become, Nicola or Nikki, and have people know who I was. I remember my cousin saying to me, "But Nikki, nobody knows who you are. They only know Trevor." I was like, okay, clearly I have to step out into the light a little bit. So that was one of the things that Michelle and I talked about. We really need to do something for ourselves.
And because, both our boys were at that stage where they're now independent, it was time for us. And I mean, like Nikki, I don't want to say shadow. I mean, I've just been really, really supportive of my family. And I just felt it was time for me to do something a little differently. And I think last year was a real turnaround point for me because we had to get quiet. We were forced to get quiet. And during those quiet moments, and I watched a lot of Naomi. I saw a lot of your podcast too, and not your podcast. The other things you had when your 40th birthday.
Yes, her brand.
Yes. Build your brand day, right? And I just really did a lot of introspection. I said, you know what? It's time. I need to make use of this time. One of the things I learned in Econ at Campion was about, what can come out of a crisis. And we're in the middle of a crisis. And I don't want to, at the end of it, say, oh my gosh, I just wasted 2 years, 3 years, because I don't even know how long this crisis is going to be.
Yeah.
So I said, I have to do something during this time. And why not make it be about me? So Nikki and I had lots of conversations, and we tried to figure out what can we do, because we are always talking about things to do. And, the podcast was it. And we've really enjoyed it. It's really been great. We've learned a lot about each other. We've learned a lot about ourselves. And we just think it's fun, And we feel good. We really, really feel good about it because we're doing something that we want to do, and it's for us. And I think we've grown a lot, right, Nix?
Yeah, for sure. Look at us on this show.
About the podcast.
Yes, it's been good. It's been good. We learned a lot of things, and we're doing a lot of things. Finally doing it instead of just saying we should.
Yes.
We're actually doing it. So it's fun.
So what is WTF about?
Just that, WTF. Meaning what the 50, right? Just what the 50. But we're now at the stage where we can say just WTF. You know, we've lived, we're living our lives, and we don't want to be living it according to anybody else. And we're at that
Right.
stage now where we can say, well, our experiences have shaped who we are, and we're now able to make other decisions based on those experiences. And it's not that, but when I was growing up, we thought 50 you'd be old.
Yeah.
I don't think we look old. I certainly don't feel old.
You definitely don't
But
look.
we have a lot of experience that we can share with others,
I just
And
don't think old should be associated with 50 anymore.
not
period.
at all. Not at all. Not at all. So, and we have a lot to share, and we want to learn too, just to make life a little easier. And
Yeah.
last year, Nikki was a part of a group. What was it called again, Nikki? There was a WhatsApp group.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, and we're sharing lots of tips and stuff. And then we said, why not share with more people? Because we were learning along the way.
Yeah.
And everybody was posting in it, little tips to do this and tips to do that. And we thought it was kind of cool. And so we said, you know what? Why not just share it with everybody else? And we have learned a lot about ourselves. And we just want everybody else to understand just how it is at this stage. It's not, I mean, we're not going to roll over and die because we're 50. And I just think it's an exciting time.
Yeah.
It's an
And
exciting
life doesn't have to be so complicated.
Not at all.
We wanted just to be able to, if we had a good way of, we had an organizing person on, just, simple tips on organizing, just to make life a little bit easier. So, you can flow through life and have less resistance. So that was really our goal.
Yeah.
Last time you guys talked literally about everything. When I was going through the podcast and preparing for this show, because honestly, I never heard about it until Nye told me about it, right? And I mean, definitely for people that are not just 50 and over, it's for everybody.
Right. Yes.
I mean, you're talking about everything from our health and wellness to our sex life to, everything. It's like there's anything that we could have interest in, you guys talk about.
Yeah.
Right. Initially, it was actually meant for women over 50. Mm-hmm. And then we realized that, other age groups were tuning in, and we thought, well, why not widen it?
Yeah.
It has worked. It has worked.
And it will help to prepare the ones coming up for 50 and change that mindset of what they thought 50
exactly. Yes.
And of course, we've learned some things now at 50 that we wish we knew when we were younger. So it's like, why put other people through that hell of having to figure out all that when we can just, share with them?
Yeah.
We're grateful for that.
So what has the response been like, the audience response? And tell us, what are some of your favorite episodes?
Oh, gosh. The response has been good. It's better than we could have ever expected, to be honest. Persons are too, and I think because of the name too, it will catch your eye. What's this thing?
Yes, of course.
What's this?
The first time I saw it, I was like, "Is what Michelle great over here?"
Literally, we're a little bit nervous about it because you have those persons who may not necessarily take a liking to it, but guess what? It is what it is. It says,
and it catches you.
It's clean.
Yeah, for sure.
It does.
I love it.
My favorite episode was the wine one. So it was, I don't know if you listened to it, but it was this girl, Chanel, who lives in Toronto. And she's Jamaican, and she broke down wine and made it very simple. And I loved that one. Maybe because we were drinking wine. I don't know. I bet you I know what Michelle's favorite one is. But anyhow.
No, I'll allow you to say, Nikki. What was my favorite episode?
Oh, the sex one, I'm sure.
And that was Nikki's niece, believe it or not. And Nikki was
really?
Oh my God, we have to do this. But it was fun. Her niece is absolutely amazing. She's in Canada. She's absolutely amazing. She's on with her husband. It was fun.
Oh, maybe we need to get them on Emerge, guys, for the next season.
That's Nikki's favorite one.
Yes.
But we had a good time. Yeah. And you made it, right, Nix?
I made it through.
You made it through. How has the podcast impacted your lives?
Oh wow. Nick, you want to start with that?
I think it's kind of changed. Michelle and I have talked about this a lot, but I think we see a little bit of a difference with how our children react to us. Because they're very supportive of us, and they will give us suggestions of why don't you do this or why don't you do that, and I just feel that it's like, okay, they have a different respect for us now. So, and our husbands are seemingly quite proud of it. Mitch, I don't know.
And the same for me too, because Chris has been very supportive. JP, Zacho. I mean, sometimes JP and Zacho may get a little annoyed because I'm trying to figure out the technology and I'm calling him, how I do this? Mom, seriously? But they've been good. And they listen, and sometimes it shocks me. In fact, I got into the car. I'll give you this joke. I got into the car one day with Zachary, and I think he put his phone in to the car, and one of our episodes came on. It was an episode about sex. So I'm like, oh, and he goes, Mom, it's so embarrassing. Everybody at school knows he did this. I'm like, well, they can learn. They're learning. So he made, Mom, seriously? But I know they're proud of us. And they talk about what Nikki and I are doing, and they're proud of us, and they're very, very supportive. So it's been good to see their response as well. So.
And they call themselves, and my youngest and her youngest, who go to the same school, call themselves the 50 brothers.
Right.
That's so nice.
That
But
is
the
funny.
only consolation, I remember when he was on our show and he had major technical difficulties himself. So you don't worry about that.
There you go.
But you know what's funny, Michelle, and I'll tell you just with my experience with Ajani, because as I heard you saying, Mom, you're so embarrassing, I've heard that so many times. But deep down, they're so super proud.
Yes.
And you may one day overhear him like talking to a friend about you, which happens.
Yes.
Right? They're just not going to.
I actually do. You're correct. Actually, he tells his friends to follow us.
Very proud. Yeah,
my mom's friends actually follow us on
podcast.
Yes. And you know what? What's also good? Nikki mentioned what her boys are doing that came out of the pandemic, and my boys too were doing their own thing. JP launched his short film.
Yeah.
Zachary started his Shop 876, which is doing pretty okay, and I think they're very happy to know that they're doing stuff and Mom is doing stuff too. And, they want the support, they love it, but they're also excited to know that I'm doing something for myself as well. And I know that's the same with Nikki, because I know, Kaylon comes and Kaylon would help us to plug this in and plug that out and whatever, but I know he's happy that we're doing it, and it's a good feeling. It's a really good feeling.
For sure.
Yeah.
Guys, as I'm looking here at the comments, because the comments have just been blowing up, so I don't know if you're able to see. People are just so happy and proud of you, ladies. So happy to be on the show. Hi, Casey. I must comment though that I see people like Amanda Taylor and Roshana Lewis calling you Auntie Michelle. Does it annoy you sometimes when
Never.
you see people?
No,
like,
a lot of them will say Auntie Michelle, but then they'll say Miss Willie when they see me in public. Sorry.
Though, I've just been so transfixed listening to you, ladies, and this show and these shows that we're doing are so important, because sometimes we forget that life keeps on living, and make a decision to stop living. Right. So, as we're approaching 50, we get all kind of anxieties, but you're helping to open a brand new door for us for this excitement on just new phases of our lives. I smiled too when you mentioned that you met each other at PTA, because as a geriatric mother myself, I'm looking around school, and some of my friends, my potential friends, I'm looking, I'm saying, you could be my daughter. You could be my daughter. I have some young friends. But ladies, just turning 50, and people have been saying it. You guys look so amazing. And it's like them shocked because when you remember when we did 20 and 30, so you talk to 30-year-olds now, and they say things like, I'm getting old. And you're like, come here, let me squeeze you. Let me just be upset. So as you are approaching, there's a recent article in Forbes Women, and Mika Brenzecki says, she talks about the age trap, and she says, I implore women who are starting out to understand that you have a lot of time, and it is important to pace out your life and career with your 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s in mind. We are here, there's so many of us, and we have created this beautiful long runway for you. As you're thinking of this long runway that we are creating with every decade of our lives, and we are setting the pace for the women that are coming up behind us, but they're like people ahead of us who have set the pace for us. When you think of 50, what are some of the intriguing things you are learning about yourself and the doors that you're seeing opening, and even some of the mindsets that you had that you see actually falling away as you reinvent yourself?
Well, Mish, you want me to go?
Sure.
Well, I'll tell everybody this story, but I finally had coming to realize that I am making my own destiny, and I can't blame anybody else for what's happening. And I'll tell you this story, and my husband is sitting here looking at me. But I have this mirror in my walk-in closet, right? And I had a mirror in the hallway. So every time I would look in the mirror in the walk-in closet, I would hate this mirror because it made me look so fat. And my husband is a bit of a design
Enthusiast.
and maven, whatever. He's very much the person that designs our house. And he didn't want the mirror in the hallway. So every time I look in this mirror, I'd be so mad at him and resent him. My husband, he doesn't want this mirror, and I look at this mirror and it makes me look so fat. Anyhow, during this time period, I lost some weight. So I lost around 15 pounds. And when I looked back in the mirror in the walk-in closet, I realized that it wasn't the mirror that was making me look fat. I was really a little chunky there. So I had to apologize to my husband and say, look at all this time I was resenting you for wanting to do this and blaming you for something that I was. So anyhow, the short story of that story is that I realized that I am the one that makes my life, that chooses what happens to me, and I cannot blame or resent anybody else for what happens to me.
I agree totally. We have to make our own decisions, and we can't wait. We can't be sitting there waiting for someone to come and save us and pick us up.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to determine what it is that we want. We set our goals, and we have to have an eraser, because sometimes you have to rub it out and write again because things happen. But it's all left up to us to do it, at whatever age. And sometimes I do it a lot, but I've learned to stop doing it. Where this has not happened because so and so didn't make it happen. And we have to sort of put that through the window and just take responsibility and get it done.
Of course.
Because there are a lot of things that will happen that will make us fall off course.
Yes.
But we just have to get up, brush off, and move again. And you know what? It's like what Nike says, just do it. We just have to do it. And it's hard sometimes, but once you put one foot in front of the other, you're getting there, and the support will come. So I've learned over the years to not expect someone to come and save me, one, and two, to just do it.
Just do it. And I see Andrina, you guys, and it's just, again, amazing, just the comments. And Andrina has a question. Great to hear from you, Andrina. She says, if you could leave us with one lesson from your respective journeys, what would that be?
Well, the journey continues, right? But I would say one of the things that I've learned, and I'm still learning about it, is having to accept where I am in life. there are things that can happen that will sort of throw us off a little bit, but we can't blame the past. We can't use the past to say, well, this is not happening because so and so happened 10 years and 15 years ago. I've learned to release and to embrace where I am now, and to be determined to keep moving forward. There are times in the past where I would think about why I haven't done something because years ago so and so happened, and that is preventing me from moving forward. And I've really learned to shed that and understand that this is where I am right now, and this is what I can do right now, and just keep going. I've learned that I really just can't afford to stop. I've stopped along the way. Don't think I got it right. I didn't. I had to learn the hard way. But now I'm at a point where I can say I just have to keep going. Sometimes I can take 2 quick steps. Sometimes I take 1 slow step. But the point is to keep making those steps and not saying that it's not happening because, 10 different reasons why it's not happening. So, and guess what? When I make those steps, it's a great feeling. It's an absolutely great feeling. And even with this podcast, we had a lot of conversations. We talked many mornings, many evenings, lots of notes and coffee and wine and everything. But we're actually doing it. And, it's important to take it off the paper and just get it done. And none of us, Nikki or myself, we're not professionals. We didn't know how to do a lot of things. And we just said one day, look, it's not going to be perfect, but we're just going to do it.
Yeah.
And we got the support.
Yes.
We got the support. We had someone that would come and take our pictures, and someone would help us with, the technology and so on. And we just got it done. And even our setup is just very, very basic, but it's okay. We're doing it, and we're really enjoying ourselves, and we're connecting with a lot of people, which is something that we enjoy.
Wow, Mish. Just do it. And don't stop. What about you, Nikki?
I would say you have to just trust, and you can't try to control everything. As a parent, we are always trying to control everything for our children, and it kind of percolates into all aspects of life. So I have learned to just allow things to happen. I'm not saying you don't guide them or guide what you want and take action to what you want. But the harder that you push and you try to force things, that's where you get the resistance. But what you want to do is just step back and allow things to flow. And when you allow things to flow and you trust that things will happen, that's where the greatest things will happen. That's where the synchronicities of life will occur. And that's where you'll really fly. So that's a big lesson.
Yeah, for sure, Nikki. And we're seeing that now, right?
We're trying.
The thing is that as you ladies speak, I think what keeps coming out is that you've experienced and you're now at a stage where you are also able to use that experience in all different ways. And sometimes a lot of the isms we have, we not do nothing because we don't know if we do this, and this has somebody stand in our way. That you take responsibility for it.
Absolutely.
You don't blame anybody. You're like, we're gonna do this. It's not gonna be perfect, but it will get there. But we're gonna enjoy ourselves along this journey.
Yes.
It's so powerful.
Yeah. And we've made the blunders, we have made blunders. And you know what happened too? In this era of social media where everything seems perfect. And it really isn't, and Nikki and I, we have always stressed the importance of being authentic in everything that we do. So we accepted ourselves, and we are embracing who we are and where we are at this point in our lives. And I think that when you get to that point where you can look in the mirror and say, I love what I'm seeing. I'm loving who I'm becoming. I think it is so important. When you get to this stage, this second phase, we're gonna call it a second phase in your 50s, I think it's really important to be able to do that. Because if you reach 50 and look in the mirror and you still don't like what you're seeing, and you're not doing anything about it, I mean, that's kind of serious. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we're here now, and we're doing what we think we need to do to continue to grow, and not take ourselves so seriously. Because I think when we're younger, we have to do this and do that at this time, and there's a place for that too. But right now, we've gotten to this place and this space where we're doing what we would like to do, what makes us happy. And I mean, living our best lives, I know is that everybody's saying it, right? But it's a real thing. You just have to live your best life.
And unapologetically too.
For sure.
Yes.
Because
Sure.
you have to feel
Sure.
that you are worthy of it, because
Right.
sometimes you feel like, oh God, they're going to say, oh, she's traveling again, oh, she's doing this again. Now you hear all the judgments in your head, so you just have to, this is me, this is our life, and this is what we're doing.
Right.
And as women, I think another important thing that Michelle and I want to do is that we have to support each other. Because I think our generation in particular are so into like judging other women and cutting them down, and it's like, oh, who does she think she is, that type of way. So it's like you almost have to put people down to make yourself feel better. So that's, we're very into like just supporting each other, because there's enough for everybody.
There is
enough
enough.
for everybody.
Absolutely.
Rochelle and I literally just had a conversation about this yesterday, about people that have, an abundance mindset versus one that, always seems lack, like always, not happy for anybody else. And it is a pity that a lot of women are still like that. But to me, it's self-work and self-worth, right? That needs to be done. And it's really exciting to hear how you women are sharing, as you said, unapologetically and with your authentic selves. And I think it's very inspiring. I mean, I'm in my early 40s, but I got excited about 40 because it's almost like you feel a sense of a shedding, right? A shedding of layers of that society expects of you.
Yes.
Things. And to me, I'm just like, wow, if this is how I feel at 42 and hearing you ladies talk, then I'm even more excited as I grow into my 50s, because it's more of that shedding and becoming, as you said, Michelle, becoming who you are meant to be.
Of course.
Right? And not really focusing on what everybody else has to say, because you're comfortable in your skin and your own journey and what you've learned throughout the years. So this is very exciting.
But that takes maturity though, right? It doesn't happen overnight. Some of us get there before others, but it does take some time to get to that space where you can shed without feeling guilty. It's okay for me to shed, but it does take some time to get there. But when you get there though, it's a great feeling. It's a great feeling.
Yeah, very freeing.
Yes.
Very freeing,
Exactly. And we can use the word fly, you know what I mean? We actually use a butterfly, and there's a reason for that, because we're evolving, and we've gotten to this point now where we feel that we are just ready to fly, and we're doing that, and we're the wind beneath each other's wings. Nikki supports me, I support her. We have different personalities. There are things that Nikki likes to do that I don't like to do, and we support each other so very well, because we want to see the best for each of us. So if we can take that to the wider group of women, I think that would be really, really just a good thing to do.
Yes, absolutely.
For everyone watching this episode, if you have a woman that you know in your life that this episode is speaking to, you want to make sure you share this link and ask them to watch the replay after the show, because these are absolute gems that Nikki and Mish are sharing, not just for women over 50, but just for people in general. So, this is really awesome.
I have a whole page full of notes.
I've been watching his script. I knew once he was done what you were doing over there. I just knew it. Because when she recaps now, she's going to reel off everything that's on her paper.
Don't worry, Kathy. When I watch you guys, I take notes as well. Don't worry. I have my notes too.
But you know what I love about what you're both doing? Because, WTF podcast is just a start, right?
Mhm.
But I can see this going into workshops and webinars and workbooks and just all kinds of things. I think it just opens up the door for a much needed conversation, and making people feeling comfortable to participate.
So we actually have something else that we're working on, which we're not going to talk about it here because it's a little
Ooh,
bit
guys,
secret.
follow the website, follow the podcast.
But we're doing something else that's just that, where we're going to be highlighting women.
Love
Because we
it.
really think it's important, to sort of come from the shadows. To use
Yeah.
the
We
word.
use the word.
So that we're working on that as well, and we're really excited about that one too. So we'll be back on your show to talk about that in a little
Oh, we
while.
can't wait. I can't wait for it. We'll break the news here.
Yes.
And so I just want to highlight that, I mean, Naya and I talked about it earlier that the podcast has been great for us. What see, Auntie Normadale says, and you're also setting the pace for the woman like herself that's in her 60s.
Yes.
So
Of
it's
course.
really great.
Yes. We're happy to hear that, Normadale.
That's
And
so funny. We mentioned that bit backstage, Kathy, that I think Auntie Normadale is really gonna like this episode.
Yes.
But too, as I'm listening, because I'm always mindful that as we are discussing things like authenticity and being unapologetically yourself, there's still people that struggle with crossing over into that space. And I mean, all of us have our moments, because Nikki, I have a mirror there sometimes too. When me and it don't agree, we only agree when we look good in there. But then we get so caught up in these external trappings, and even as women are listening, and as you guys have evolved, and as we are all evolving, and you learn these things about yourself. Can you share with us like some of the fears that you have had to say, like, even though I am dying and I'm shaking my boots, it's
Gonna
no
do
time
it.
for me to just step out. What are some of the things that you have had to just overcome to just move as you're moving on this journey?
You know what? Fear is something that I think we all experience from time to time, right? And it's not a bad thing, because if it is that you choose to step over it, you will without question grow. And I got to the point where I felt it was really important for me to face those fears. My younger son will tell me sometimes, "Mom, you just have to face your fears." But it's important for us to face those fears, just straight up and deal with them. One of the fears I had was just having people listen to us, Nikki and myself, on a podcast. Will they really want to listen to what we have to say? How would our voices sound? Will we make mistakes along the way? I mean, who wants to listen to two women talk about whatever, you know? And we were really fearful about that. I'm not speaking for Nikki, but I mean, we talked about it a lot, and I was very fearful. Will we even have an audience? And at first I was like, I didn't really tell anybody about the podcast because, oh my gosh.
No, you didn't, Michelle. You didn't.
Yeah, no, I get that a lot. You didn't
It
tell
just popped up on my Instagram one day, and I was like, "What is this?"
Yes, I get that a lot because I was fearful. So and another thing I said to myself, like, who do you think you're doing? What do you think you're doing? Who do you think you are? What do you think you're gonna be a podcaster? And that's a real thing. It sounds simple, but it's a real thing.
As M. Benson says, it's imposter syndrome and limiting beliefs. That's what it is that gets into our heads.
Right. And Nikki and I have had many conversations about removing the negative self-talk, because we tend to do that sometimes, and we'll talk ourselves out of doing something. And guess what? If we decided to be podcasters and we had 2 listeners, it didn't work. Oh well, no problem. Move on to the next thing.
Exactly.
Let's be YouTubers then. In other words, things you may not necessarily be successful right away, but you know what? So what? We'll do something else, but we're going to be successful at something.
Yeah.
We're not going to just sit back, and that's something that's really, really
and it takes time, Mitch.
It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time. Like years ago, I
Takes
started
time.
writing a
No
book.
one starts off with 1 million followers.
No. I started writing a book years ago, and I'm like, gosh, who's going to even read this
You
book?
start off with 1.
I know. And I'm still trying to get to that point where the book is done and published, right? But it takes a lot of time. I have to talk to myself. I have to talk myself out of being fearful. And at the end of the day, guess what? Everybody has experienced it at some point. I'm not alone in it. And
Listen.
one of the things about our podcast too is that people will message us and say, you know what, I'm going through that too.
Yes.
And that commonality makes you feel connected. So yes, I have fear. Yes, I look in the mirror like Rush, and sometimes the mirror and I are not friends. But we just have to get up and go. And I talk to myself. I have a lot of conversation, especially in the bath. When I'm in the shower, I talk to myself. I don't answer myself though. I talk to myself, but I don't answer myself. But I have a lot of those one-sided conversations where I say, look, Mitch, you're going to do this thing, you know. You have to do it. You're going to do it. You're going to swallow. You're going to do it.
Yeah.
And I get out of the shower feeling empowered. And it's even better when I've actually done it. But the fear sometimes will creep in. And I just have to find a way to talk myself out of it. Even coming on the show tonight, I said, Nikki, Lord have mercy. Suppose somebody not watching.
Oh my gosh. That's okay. Guess what?
And guess what? We had a million reasons why we couldn't do the show tonight. I just came back.
No.
Nikki just came back from Canada. Nikki had some issues dealing with. I am doing, my mom is not well. And when I spoke to Nikki, I said, Nikki, we can do this. She says, yes, let's just do it. And here we are.
And here you are. I'm so happy that you guys did.
We can't. I'm having jet lag, and Nikki's having jet lag 2 days later, and blah, blah, blah. We're like, you know what? We're like, WTF, let's just do it. So here we are.
And we are so grateful because if you're looking at the comments, there's so many great comments. Yamfoot says the podcast was the best kept secret. There I was thinking Michelle was a guest on someone else's podcast.
No, here we are. Just happy to be here.
Yeah. And what about Nikki?
It's a lot of limiting self-beliefs that I had to overcome. And it was just self-worth and me being in my own head. And no matter what other people told me, my husband would always tell me, you can do this, you can do anything you want, you're formidable, he was really very supportive until I really dug deep into myself was when I really realized, I am pretty smart. I can help people do these things, that I really started to realize my own power.
Yes.
And it was, and the only person that was holding me back was myself.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the power of just doing it, and even when you're having the thoughts, and Michelle, I answer when I talk, I answer.
Rush, I was holding it back because I do it in the car and I have to pretend when I notice someone's looking, I'm like, I have to pretend like I'm singing a song and not actually having a conversation with myself.
The person, because I'm answering.
All right.
So there is this power in notwithstanding all the voices in your head, notwithstanding fear. You just do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
Do it scared.
Yes.
Just do it scared. Just do it not knowing if anybody will ever listen. Just do it not knowing if it will succeed, because the success is just that you got up and did it. Because you failed when you just sat and thought about it.
But and not only that, you would never know if you don't do it. You just
and if you're not a little scared, it will be kind of boring.
Right.
Yeah.
It's boring. That little adrenaline rush. As well.
And Michelle and I also talk a big talk to our boys, right? So we've talked about this among ourselves. Like, we're always telling our boys, you can do whatever you want to do.
Exactly.
You're smart, you're this, you're that. So one day we sat down and spoke to ourselves, and we said, but listen, if we're telling our children this, we have to walk the walk.
Put your money where your mouth is.
Absolutely.
Right?
Walk the walk.
Yeah.
But trust me, we can all relate. When Emerge started, we were right there with you. The morning of the first Emerge, the three of us were looking through the window at Spanish Court like, is anybody in the parking lot?
Is anybody going to show up? Honestly.
Yeah.
And then half an hour later, we had a full parking lot.
That is good.
Awesome.
Yeah. Same for you. Yeah, even
Congrats
for
to
you,
you guys.
if anybody was gonna
Oh
watch
my
it.
gosh! Suppose they don't like us. We made them come and leave their house. Why did we do that? And to this day, I can share that I don't watch videos of myself at all because I am so critical of my own self. I just do it, and I just because if I stop to like actually replay sometimes the dumb things that I say and do, I mean, I never do anything. So I'm just like, it done gone bad already.
It's out there.
I don't
It's out
listen
there.
either. Once we do a recording, I don't listen back. And sometimes
Yeah,
Nicola
you
says,
just
"You listen." I'm like, no, I didn't.
Yeah.
Because we just keep moving.
Yeah, keep
And what that
moving.
does too is sometimes we get so caught up in trying to fix, like
And make it perfect.
sound better.
Yes.
I could set up I could look a little more intelligent, and it starts cutting away at your authenticity.
Exactly.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Natasha
that's
made a
what
great
Nikki and I
point.
push for. Just do it. However, if it has a few mistakes, sometimes we mispronounce words when somebody has, goes to university, we can't pronounce
That would
that.
be
It happens, but hey, that's what makes it real. That's what makes it authentic. And we're not trying to be professional podcasters. We just want to have a good time.
You are professional podcasters. Excuse me. Excuse me.
Let's take that on, Nikki. We're professional podcasters.
Absolutely.
our elevator.
Right, Vanessa,
Accepted. Title accepted.
stop and celebrate and keep moving forward.
Exactly. I had a coach that said
Thanks,
she says
Fanny.
all the time, done is better than perfect.
Oh yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And in fact, done is perfect.
Yeah.
Done and
Because it's done, right? We did it.
And
Exactly.
don't forget that perfection can actually paralyze you.
Yes.
For sure.
It does.
That's-
Trying to get it perfect and you end up not doing
Anything at all. And then you're sad because someone else comes up with your exact idea
Yes.
or
Like,
something
why didn't I
similar.
do it?
And yours could have been better, but you just didn't do it.
Exactly. So
Well, like Natasha said, the worst decision is the decision not made.
absolutely.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So we just need to make up our minds and get it done.
Just get it done. Just do it.
So, ladies, I mean, what I said, time flies when you're having fun, right?
I can't believe it's 9:00.
So we have a segment called Best Advice. I know
Uh-oh.
Michelle is familiar with it. So we're gonna ask you questions and we want you to give us the best advice that you've either received or the best advice that you would like to give on particular topics. So,
Okay.
and it's for both of you. The first one is best advice about marriage.
Nick, you want to go?
Gosh, the best advice about marriage.
While her husband sits beside her.
I think the best advice about marriage is that maybe this is not the right word, but my husband and I use it all the time, is that you have to kind of manage each other from early on. You can't allow someone to evolve in a way that does not, you have to, that is not complementary to you or not somewhere that you like it. You have to manage him and he would manage you in a certain way that you will grow and together. I don't know.
Okay.
For me, the best advice that I received, and I tried to practice. I've been married for 26 years, and at our wedding, a friend of ours said, "Love is a doing word." So it's not enough to just say I love the person, and this goes for any relationship.
Mhm.
I think it's important, and I've learned this over the years that we have, and Chris has learned it as well. We have to do things to make that love grow. Just like you have a plant in your house, you have to water it. So you have to be intentional about making your marriage successful. And we've learned, and another important thing is learning each other's love language. That is really, really important. Chris and I are still working on that. It's 26 years, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's interesting learning his love language and learning mine, and working on them and enjoying each other doing it. It's actually quite funny. But there have been lots of bumps along the road. You know what I mean? But we're in it, and we're doing this thing.
Yes.
It hasn't been easy, but we've had some really, really fantastic memories, some fantastic times. We have 2 wonderful boys, and that came out of love being a doing word.
Yeah.
We had to do it. We had to do stuff. It's not automatic. Yes, you can see somebody say, yeah, man, I like off that person, I'm in love, but that's not what it's really all about, you know.
Right.
You have to put the work. It's a lot of work because
A
it's
lot
two
of
different
work.
people coming together. It's a lot of work,
Yeah.
but it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it.
All right. So, best advice about starting a podcast.
But I can jump in on that one. I would say, apart from just doing it, I mean, just, you know, do your research and understand who is your target audience. What is it that you want to pass on to them, you know? Because you can have a topic, you may have something you want to, your whole podcast is about this thing, but you're not targeting the right audience, you know? And another bit of advice is not, you don't have to buy expensive equipment. Because I've read where persons right, they can't start because they have to buy this. You don't have to. You don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
Get on with it. You know. And I think Nikki has some advice on that too, because she actually did you did a podcast course, right, Nix?
Yes, I did. I did a podcast course that I create. Kaylin and I both did it. I think my advice would be just to kind of, maybe plan a little. You might have a guest that might not show up or might fall through, so make sure you have a few things on the go. That would be my.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the planning is very important. And you know what? Before we actually started, we thought it was something really simple. 1, 2, 3. It actually takes, and you ladies would know this. It takes a lot. The editing, the planning, the getting the guests on, getting the
Scheduling.
questions, and just keeping a vibe going. Because remember, with us, it's just audio, you know, and we don't want our audience falling asleep after 2 minutes. So we have to find those topics that are interesting. Our voices have to sound interesting.
Yeah.
It's not as easy as it appears, you know.
And press record.
Don't forget to press record.
Have you done an episode where you didn't record it?
Absolutely.
We realized it a little late, but that's all right. That's all right. Our guests have been really good to us, so we need to fix it really quickly.
Listen,
But you know what?
I
We
know
laughed
that
at
was
ourselves.
good.
We have to, you know, but we just laughed at ourselves. We're like,
of course.
we did not press record. That blue light was not on. But we just laughed at ourselves and we did it over and it was fine. And guess what? Nobody would have known. I mean, everybody knows now, but you know,
That's
we
hilarious.
just laughed at ourselves and we just kept going.
Yeah.
Okay, best advice about being 50.
Best advice about being 50.
Oh gosh.
I think at this time you have to just kind of celebrate every moment and plan those celebrations yourself. You know, I can't tell you how many times I've sat there thinking, wow, I would really like that for my birthday. I would like to go on this trip, but it's waiting for somebody to plan it for me. No. Do it yourself.
Do it
I
yourself.
plan my whole birthday, what we're going to eat, what the decorations are, what the cake is, and I'm happy.
She's good at that. Yes. She even does menu cards. It's her family of 4 and she does her menu cards. Yeah. She's good at that. I've learned from her. Yes. But
very nice.
actually, the best advice many years ago, my friend in Canada, Jackie Delphos, she told me about a song. I think it's Leanne Womack, I think. And it's all about just living your life. And, you know, if you have a chance to sit it out or dance, just dance.
Yes.
Just dance. There are many times I didn't dance and I wish I had. And I'm now learning how to dance. Whether I know the moves or not, I'm dancing. Life is not, it's not a dress rehearsal. We don't have another opportunity. And there are many times you say, oh, I'll do it another time. And we don't get that chance to do it, you know. And we just have to, if it is that we're able to do it, we have that choice. Just take the chance and dance.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I saw a video of myself doing the dirt bones.
Where's the video? Video. Nice.
I
You should have
I
also the video exit. You should
I would
come
love
up
to
with
see that video. Can someone please leak the Rochelle video?
We will get it. We must get it. Okay. What advice would you tell your 25-year-old self?
Mm.
I would say stop judging everything and other people and this, because what happens is that you start judging yourself so hard. So just stop with the judgment. Stop it.
I'd say just take a leap of faith. I think at 25, there's so many expectations of us. We have to do this like this at this time and in this particular way. And sometimes that in and of itself prevents us from doing what we really want to do. Or if it's not done in that particular way, you feel like you've failed. I think at 25, you just take a leap of faith. Just do it. And what, just deal with whatever comes. Just invest in yourself, keep learning, just enjoy the journey. Because this is all we have. Yeah, this is all we have.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, ladies, this was awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's really what WTF.
WTF. That's exactly it.
Exactly.
So
What it is.
since we're speaking of that, ladies, where can our audience find you?
That's you, Nikki.
Oh, it's right there. So, okay, once you get over 50, your memory gets a little shaky. So Michelle's like, okay, you remember. And I'm like, no, you remember. So it's at WTF.whatThe50. Find us on Instagram, and in our link in our bio, you'll have the link towards our podcast.
And it's on all platforms.
Yes.
Awesome, guys. Well, ladies, Nikki, Michelle, WTF, just what the 50. Thank you so much for joining us on Emerge. I'm glad that you recovered from your jet lag. And you were able to join us.
It's been
Thank
fun.
you for
Thank you
saying
so much
yes.
for having us.
Thank you for having us.
So I think it was
And congrats to you ladies as well. I mean, what you do is amazing. I watch sometimes. I don't get a chance to watch all the time, but I mean, I really love what you're doing. And the three of you just gel. 3 different personalities that are just amazing. I love to see the 3 of you, and congrats. Just keep doing it.
Thank you so
have
much.
inspired me in a lot of ways. I still have my stack of notes from watching different episodes, and it's just great. I'm really happy for the 3 of you.
Thank you. And this episode has been very inspiring as well. I know I can speak on behalf of myself and Kathy and Rochelle. It inspires us, right? Even some of the topics that we discuss. I know when we have our meeting this week, we're gonna talk about, we definitely want your niece, Nikki, on our show.
Dr. Jess.
but also, just based on the responses in the comments, and this is a range of ages here, from as young as early 20s to 70s watching right now, and they're all commenting. And so I think you have definitely positively impacted the lives of our viewers. I'm sure you're going to get new follows on Instagram. I saw Althea already said she's following now. And I'm sure you're going to get some new subscribers to the podcast. So we're really excited about that. And we're really happy that you are able to come on our platform and just share with us and, expand and get us excited about this journey to 50 when it does come. And for those already in their 50s, 60s, 70s to know that it's not over. You still have an opportunity to embrace your own journey, to be your own self unapologetically and authentically, and to just live your best life, whatever that means for you.
Yeah, it's never too late.
Never too late.
Yeah.
For sure. Thank you so much. Thank you for this opportunity. It's been
Thank
great.
you,
A lot of
ladies.
fun.
Awesome. We're so happy to have you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, lady.
Bye.
Wow, that was so good.
Aw, another great episode.
Yes.
We do say so ourselves.
If we do say so ourselves. So
Yeah.
thank you everybody for joining us for another week of Detour Essentials Live. You can catch us again next week, Wednesday at 8 o'clock. You can follow us on all of our platforms at Ready to Emerge. You can email us at readytoemergenow@gmail.com. Next week we'll have some more news. Next week we have another exciting guest. Should we tell them who it is now? No. Follow us on Ready to Emerge, and you'll get to see who our guest is next week.
Yeah, thank you guys. And remember, we're here every Wednesday at 8 o'clock, streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. So for the new emergers, welcome. We hope you'll stick and stay and join us in our future episodes. And to see who's coming up next, follow us on Ready to Emerge on Instagram.
Bye, everybody. Have a great rest of your week.